Let us begin with some TCG recaps. All right, so 2 YCSs happened over the course of the weekend, YCS Lille and YCS Lima. Let's start with the smaller of the two. YCS Lima, I believe, had around 500 duelists, which I don't know if that's big or small relative to other YCSs in Peru, but seems a decent turnout, which has been won by Trif. Again, second YCS win with Yummy, this time around with a pretty crazy brew of 60 card Mitsurugi Pendulum Yummy, which I thought was crazy when I heard about it. I wasn't able to really follow the exact, I mean, the tournaments are hard to follow because there is no stream, unfortunately. But also on top of that, I was at YCS Lille, so I was kind of busy over the course of the weekend. But yeah, this list looks crazy to me. The first thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to have to read this Nouvelle package to try and understand what it does. Because, of course, I mean, this is a Yummy Mitsurugi deck, which is not something that I am unfamiliar with. Yummy Mitsurugi is a relatively normal deck, like, you know, but, like, making it 60 cards and adding Nouvelle cards to it is kind of crazy. So, we are playing one copy of Poissonnière de Nouvelle, which is a level 1, and I think that's what the Nouvelle stuff is for, at least from what I've heard, is like it bridges into Yummy somehow, because they're level 1 monsters and we play Linkaribo. So if we can get 2 level 1 monsters onto the board, that is Yummy combo. So I just want to try and understand what we're working with here. So Poissonnière de Nouvelle is if you control a ritual, you can target a monster on the field, special discard, then change that monster's battle position. If this card is normal or special, add a level 1 ritual or a recipe card from your deck to your hand. Banish any number of recipe cards from your grave. Special a ritual monster from your hand with equal level, equal to advantage. Okay, so let's get all of them in there. I know Magician Souls and Illusion of Chaos. Angry Burger. This card is always treated as Hungry Burger. Ritual summon this card with a recipe card. Monsters your opponent controls that can attack must attack this card. You can only use each effect once per turn. Reveal this card in your hand. Add a Nouvelle monster from your deck to your hand. And if you do, shuffle this card into the deck. Quick effect, you contribute an attack position monster on either field. And if you do, special a Hungry Burger with 2000 attack from your hand to deck. I would guess that you never summon this. You just use it in hand to search for the Poissonnière. Like, it's kind of like an Illusion of Chaos. Or this. That you can also search with prep. Maybe you can also search it with pre-prep. I'm not sure if it's mentioned. If we play a ritual spell for this? No. There's no ritual spell for the Nouvelle. So this is just 2 Nouvelle cards. Okay. Miracle Raven, however. Once per turn during your main phase, you can ritual summon this card by attributing a monster from your hand or field whose total level equals or exceed 1. You can ritual summon this card with Miracle Raven. This ritual summon card is unaffected. If you ritual summon exactly 1 ritual monster with a card effect that correlates you the monster, this can be used the entire tribute. If this card's tributed for a ritual summon, you can add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Diviner of the Herald, I know. Okay, so Herald can special the Pendulum out. It is a level 1 fairy. And how do I tribute Diviner? Because there's no Trias. Do I go Diviner, send Herald, search Miracle Raven, or Habakiri? Oh! Now it makes sense. Okay. Okay. So the ideal line is Diviner, send Herald, search Habakiri, activate Habakiri, summon Saji, tribute Diviner, activate Saji, activate Diviner. Saji searches you Mitsurugi Ritual. Diviner special summons out the Nouvelle. This card is now special summon, so you can add a level 1 ritual monster. So you add Miracle Raven. And then you can use Miracle Raven to ritual summon itself by tributing the Saji. And then you have 2 level 1s on the board. You tribute the Pendulum. Oh, you don't even have to tribute the thingy. If this card is tributed, you can play... Ah, it summons itself anyways. Ah, okay. So you keep the Saji as well. You keep the Saji because this is a free tribute. So you tribute this for Miracle Raven, and then your board is Miracle Raven, this one, and Saji, which is full Yummy combo. with a free body next to it. And then you also have Abakiri and Ritual in hand. Okay. And if you start, and this is a known synergy, but if you start with the Yummy portion of the combo, one line, I'm familiar with this line because it's been used in Yummy Mitsurugi already. Like if you start with Yummy, what you can do is you can go Herald of the Arclight, and then you can link off the Herald of the Arclight, search Habakiri, and then you might think that's a problem because Herald of the Arclight is limited, but this card actually lets you shuffle back Herald of the Arclight from the graveyard, because Shamisen Samsara Sorrow Cat is a level 3 synchro tuner that says if it's in your grave, you can target another synchro in your grave, return it to the extra deck, and bring it back. So this is something that recycles the one of Herald if it's in your graveyard. So you don't actually lose the Herald of the Arclight if you synchro it off in Yummy and then search for Habakiri. This is a synergy that even Yummy Mitsurugi has been using, but this is basically taking it one step further because we're adding the Nouvelle stuff into it, which is an interesting. It's a small addition, but it seems pretty potent. Here's a combo from Trif with the new card. Yeah, we can take a look at. Honestly, I feel like I'm starting to get the idea, but we can also listen to it from Trif himself, because this is probably something where there's a lot of hidden synergies and stuff like that. So let's take a quick look.
Hey guys, here at Carlancho store and fresh off numero 3, and I'm ready for numero 4. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys properly how to combo with the Nouvelle cards, because I know for sure you guys don't know how. It's a little bit intricate, and there's a pendulum summon combo I want to show you guys. So I'm going to show you guys how to combo with the deck right now. Before we do though, make sure to get your Marshmallow deck boxes down in the description below, because they're almost sold out already just after one night of posting it. So make sure to get that. The Copsy deck boxes are also available. And lastly, I'm actually going to be doing a last second Yummy Mitsurugi Nouvelle Masterclass on Thursday before Anaheim. This Thursday. It is, you have a few days to sign up.
Okay.
Down below, it's any of these, which I'm sure what the kind of confusion is of the deck. How do these bridge to actual combo? Within doing these, I'll show how Yummy or Mitsu bridge into each other 100% of the time. And the Miracle Ravens and these. So there's a combo with all of these included, and you cannot adjust your...
My question is any of... Because none of this seems like it's an actual brick, which I think that's what would make it a pretty good, like a really good idea, is if none of these are hard bricks. Because like, does the Pendulum Monster on its own like full combo? Raven alone is just a level 1 extender that requires you to tribute something. So like one Raven alone can't be that powerful, but like it's as long as it's not like a dead card, that's already something that's valuable.
My list is so perfect. I'm not adjusting a single thing. It's pure perfection. There's one minor thing I'm doing, but I'll explain in the class.
Which does make me wonder why the Miracle Raven is a 2 of, if it's actually the one that's just a potential extender.
Anyways, so I'm gonna show you guys right now what one Diviner the Herald does, or one prep. So for example, Preparation of Rites would be searching, if you don't have Yummy combo, it searches Angry Burger, which searches Nouvelle, and Nouvelle does the whole combo on its own. But by showing you Diviner, it shows what everything does. But also don't forget the second effect of this, where it searches a spell from your grave, which is crazy. But anyways, so I'm gonna show you guys now what one Ritual or one Diviner does. Bear with me as I'm kind of like showing it from an angle for you guys. So let's say you normal summon Diviner of the Herald, okay? You normal summon Diviner of the Herald. If your opponent hand traps, like they kind of have to hand trap this, because if they don't hand trap the Diviner, everyone knows Diviner resolving full combo, no shit. So, but if they don't hand trap it, you have 20 plus ways to tribute the Diviner.
Yeah, that's a really powerful thing with Diviner. Like the Diviner offering a tribute outlet after, like, it's basically, those are the most powerful normal summons in Yu-Gi-Oh these days, are the ones that even if they get Veilered or Impermed or whatever, they have further value.
So it's, or if you really want, you can play Almirage and just summon a Cupsy, but that's not going to really happen. You allow them to hand trap this, then you just tribute it anyways with Habakiri or Miracle Raven or Preparation of Rites. You have literally 20 ways to do it. So let's say they let this resolve. So you send the Herald to the grave, but it's irrelevant because you play Samsara, you're going to get it back anyways. So now the Herald will trigger, searching whatever you need. So in this situation, if you have no card in hand, you would search Habakiri, obviously. But because you have like infinite ways to Habakiri, typically there's a 2-card combo. Well, let's just, for this argument's sake here, let's say you have these in hand. You will then, instead of searching this, you would search Miracle Raven, or you'll search Illusion Souls, where in this deck, this draws 2 every time. I want to show you guys the 1-card combo Herald first, but just remember, it all bridges together so damn well. So you're going to use this to search for Habakiri. Then, you'll use Habakiri. Special summoning Saji, but instead of tributing the Saji, you're going to tribute the Diviner.
Yep.
Now, going Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, searching your Mitsurugi Ritual.
I hate Mitsurugi, man. Mitsurugi, Habakiri should have locked you to reptiles. I think that's where I stand on it. Like, whenever I play against pure Mitsu, I'm like, damn, this deck's cool. Or whenever I play Mitsurugi myself. But then whenever, like, it's just another lesson in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Of, like, engine, splashability, and compatibility, right? Like, decks, it really feels like they design decks to be fair when they're played on their own, like the way they intended them to be played, basically. Like if someone plays pure Mitsurugi, the deck is fine. Sometimes they even make those decks too powerful. That's a different question, but like I feel like from their perspective, they're always designing decks to be played the way they intend them to be played, right? But then the shit goes down when they just don't make proper restrictions, and then the deck all of a sudden becomes very splashable and synergistic with other things. Which on the one hand, don't get me wrong, discovering those synergies like this stuff is cool. All right, discovering this kind of stuff is cool and impressive. But balancing wise, I think that's when it all falls apart. Is when like a deck that is balanced when it's played pure, all of a sudden, like its end board gets combined with a different end board, and all of a sudden people are building a Mitsurugi end board and a Yami end board at the same time because they're synergistic engines, which is crazy because one of them is supposed to be like a level 1 synchro 2 strategy, and the other one is ritual based, and all of a sudden they fit together. And while the pure Mitsurugi end board is fine and the pure Yami end board is fine, and both of them are actually beatable and breakable, if you put them both together, then all of a sudden it's not okay anymore. And that is something that I feel like just needs to be handled better. Like it keeps happening because they don't put proper restrictions. Like, what was so hard about saying you can only summon reptiles for the rest of the turn on a broken ass 1-card starter in Mitsu?
Like, the amount of pressure this applies is crazy. Searching a Mitsurugi Ritual.
Like, I know it's too late now for Mitsurugi. They're not gonna errata freaking Habakiri to say this. It's just another lesson that, like, I hope they sometime, like at some point, I hope they understand that this is what's causing problems.
Well, and then this will trigger specialing your Nouvelle.
Yes, I agree. In an ideal world, they would just errata a Habakiri once something like this is discovered, right? Like if once something like Mitsurugi Raizul starts popping off and making basically the board that pure Mitsu would make plus the board that pure Raizul would make, you would hope that they realize, like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. Let's just put an errata on the Mitsurugi cards, or on Habakiri or whatever, or on Mitsurugi Ritual, and then we're good, right? Yeah.
Because Nouvelle is a fairy. So then Nouvelle will trigger to search your Miracle Raven. You don't even need to play it to Nibiru, you just save these. Scale the Miracle Raven, use it to ritual by sending the Nouvelle. The Nouvelle has a secret effect. When it's tributed, it goes in the scale. And then there's another secret effect. When you have a ritual in the field, you could special it to the field. So from one free diviner, you got one diviner.
That is crazy.
2 cards in your hand and 3 on the field. You turn one of them into a Link Karibo. Any random Link 1.
If your peak deck building is combining deck cores to FTK the opponent, then that isn't very peak. I think that's where you gotta admit that this is impressive stuff. I think this is like mentally, this is a pretty impressive achievement. Gameplay wise, this is not healthy, right? One diviner should not lead to a full Yummy end board, including a Herald Omni negate, and then you just do the full Mitsu combo after. Like it's impressive, but it should not be possible. I also don't think like making proper restrictions on decks kills all creativity or whatever. Like I think there should always be some kind of level of creativity that you can apply to Yu-Gi-Oh decks, but just like slapping two engines together and basically achieving the full potential for both engines, I don't know. Like you could argue from a different perspective, like also maybe the Yummy synchros should have read a little differently. Maybe the Yummy synchros should have said like you can treat a Yummy Link 1 as a level 1 tuner and not any Link 1, so that not every single other engine. You can look at this from both ways. You can look at this for Mitsurugi's fault and Yummy's fault, because Yummy is also like kind of at fault for being able to bridge into it with any Link 1 and level 1, right? That's also, I feel like, a little bit of an oversight with that.
At this point, you have summoned 5 times. If your opponent...
Why not both? Yeah, ideally both. Ideally both.
Heroes you before you go Cupsy.
The deck would be so ass. What do you mean Yummy would be so ass? If you needed to actually use Snatchy for the synchros, it would basically change nothing. Like, the only thing you couldn't do is you couldn't use Sky Striker cards. And you sometimes can't normal summon a hand trap to make Almirage. But for 99% of games, it's completely fine. I didn't even play the Sky Striker cards at YCS Lil. They're not mandatory. The deck is fine without them.
This is unaffected by effects. It's unaffected. So if they Nibiru you, this stays, you get a token, then you Mitsu combo. This is all from one card. Let's say they don't Nibiru. You make Cupsy. Let's say your opponent is only scared of your Yummy cards. Let's say they hand trap this. Who gives a fuck at all? Because then you have full Mitsu combo to make Zombie Vampire to then send a Yummy, or especially your opponent's Yummy. It's so good. Next, let's show it. Let's say now it resolves. Just for argument's sake, so you guys see what happens. You're keeping these. You send the Marshal.
I mean, at this point, everyone who's played this format should understand how powerful this is. So let me speed this up. But yes, this is now, you do the full Yummy board, you recycle the Herald of the Arclight, and then you also do the full Mitsu stuff after.
You want the surprise always, because this just implies no matter what happens going forward, you go to Nibiru. So like, you'd rather just ensure you have a surprise, just in case they decide to save it for whatever reason. Alright, next. I like saving the level 1s when possible. Snatchy. I mean, at this point, it's a little bit straightforward. You're gonna full combo everything. I also enjoy saving the minion because you have so many. Because I play as Alien after, which means every time no matter what you have a Link 1. So anytime your opponent decides to out-big you by like improving you before you end the turn, you always are able to play if you really need to, and then you can trigger minion anytime you want. So what I would do here is just take these in the lollipop.
No, this is an impressive discovery. Don't get me wrong.
Having a Miracle on board does seem good, and you could do that, but you're a little bit more. Let's say your opponent is saving Nib, Bell, Magnemite, or like Crow, or Purge, or like they're saving 2 or 3 hand traps to use together. It's a little bit better just to save shit for later, because they will never let you go this deep. They'll use their shit somewhere. So it's okay to save this. Trust me, it's okay. Then board's so unbreakable, you don't need to like really discard a card. They're not gonna stop anything anyways. So then at this point, you summon back keep the lollipop always. Summon back these two. At this point, you emphasize anything here. Once you drop this, it's already over for them. Now at this point, I would surprise because I know they don't have anything. Add back. Again, still a few situations we can do. I put this into like a Rebo. So Snatchy actually is good. You can play 2 or 3 Snatchy if you play. Like at this point, you can just summon Link Rebo if you like to save a Snatchy kind of an extra deck. You have a Link 1 on field, special. At this point, you got like we're playing 3, so just do Snatchy. Ask them if they have a response. They're gonna say no. At this point, they clearly don't have shit because they're just allowing like they don't have anything. Trust me. So what you do at this point is put these to mask. It's a ritual. This is where this ritual spell comes up always. You can avoid playing Kusanagi into Anar Amasa entirely by inserting 3 extra starters in.
The fact he surprises now means a nib here is basically just Mitsu board. No. Yes, if you nib here the surprise in hand has already been used, as well as the minion revive. But I mean, what you're saying is also crazy. The fact that it's still full Mitsu board, plus we have surprise in hand, which surprise in hand with the synchros in the graveyard is basically the full yummy stuff on your opponent's turn as well, because you just revive the synchro 2 as soon as your opponent activates a card, you tag out, then you have the link 1 and the level 1 again, and so on and so forth. So it's like, no, it's not just the Mitsu board. It's the Mitsu board plus surprise, which leads to basically all of the yummy interruptions if uncontested.
And 1 brick. But this brick,
which, let me tell you, it's going to be very hard to contest that surprise and the synchro when there's a full Mitsu board next to it.
By playing 3 extra starters, because the idea goes to not getting rituals twice. So it just does the exact same result. Effect trigger, you search your prayers. Oh, this is engraved. We're left here with the situation of we're waiting too much. We have so much monsters on board, we can't even summon the Herald. So I would just fucking keep this engraved, because we're suffering from success. Next, we're going to put the Samsara, banish the Samsara. Sorry, banish special Samsara, bring Herald back. Then you just summon the Herald. Yeah. This is your 1-card combo of 1 Diviner. This is auto win.
This is your 1-card combo. Yeah, no, it's insane. It is insane.
This is 2 interruptions, 3 interruptions, 4 interruptions, Regeki 5 interruptions, plus Yummy board. This is 1 card, and then you also have 29 engine. So this is what 1 Diviner does. One Nouvelle does the exact same thing. 1 Nouvelle does the exact same thing, minus the Masquerader. Like, so Diviner's not the only like great card to start with. So let's do this in the inverse now. Like, emphasize, because like what you see how like 1 card does all of this. Make sure to get your Yummy Masterclass, Yummy gets a Rookie Masterclass this Thursday before Anaheim. So you can really learn this in depth. It'll be such a long class, and get your martial deck classes while you can. But now I'm just gonna show you guys what happens with one preparation of rights, or 1 Nouvelle, just so you guys can now kind of see like, all right, Trif, but sure, Diviner's broken. It's always been broken. But what happens if you open like a Nouvelle? Why are you playing a preparation of rights, for example? They all work too well together, but I'm gonna show you now what happens with that. And don't get me started now broken like the 4-card combos are, where it's like your opponent Valor's Valor's a Diviner. Cool, bro. Hamakiri. Ash. Cool, bro. Pepper Rights get Miracle Raven. Still full combo. Nibiru. No problem. Special prayers to reset 1 of your cards. Make a link to trigger Azalea to Hayate's special cupsy. You can have 5 hand traps to still lose. In fact, some quadruple hand trap means there's a photo of it on Twitter, and I ended up on this full board you're looking at without Masquerena plus Blacko. 4 hand traps. He was like, he couldn't believe his eyes. He thought I was playing a Pokemon, but we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But in the worst hand ever, you have Preparation of Rights and like 4 fucking start, 4 board breakers, like Melatonin Droplets, Chalice, or some break, whatever. Prep of Rights, search Angry Bird. If you have a spell, the ritual's not good at it. Angry Bird effect searches your pendulum. It just goes back in deck. It just searches it. It makes it so Preparation of Rights can search this. It can search a 1-card starter. I learned this from Pokemon. Pokemon plays 60-card decks because you're allowed to have more 1-card tools per se. They're searchable by card called Arvin. Like you just play, they have a lot of rollers in Pokemon. So by playing 60 cards, we have the capability now of searching any one of them we want in the world. So it allows us to push through 1 place. So you go Prep Right Solution, get this. You get a Ritual on board. You get a free special. And if that's okay, normal. And this is where the 1-card combo comes in. Miracle Raven special effect is got tribute but in scale. You control a Ritual special. You link this off for Link Rebo. And you do the exact same combo.
I'm pretty sure in Pokemon they play 60 cards because that's the rule. You have to play exactly 60 cards, but okay.
Then you link this and this for Cupsy. And you do the exact same shit. Cupsy effect search yummies, you do all the yummies. And then once you're done the yummy combo, you put Herald, to grave, and search Hamakiri. Then you do the exact same thing. And your last line, because Marshmallow gives you 1 extra body, you make this Herald with Samsara. So at the very end, you resummon the Samsara to put Herald back to still get Herald on board at the very end.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I get it. The synergy is crazy, and I think that is an impressive find for sure. It's still, I think it's kind of impressive to win the YCS with this deck, because it's the one thing to it's the one thing that the synergy is good between these two. But like, let's not forget, we're playing a 60-card engine pile here basically. Like, yeah, we do have some non-engine, but like, considering it's a 60-card deck, we're not going to draw them as frequently when we're going second. There's no Fuva anywhere. So we're basically, our plan going second is to always play into the board and try to break the board, which, to be fair, is quite possible in the current format. I think that is one of the coolest things about the current format, is that like boards are actually breakable going second. Not the one that this deck makes, I don't think, but in general, like it's a pretty low to the ground format, so there was some room for this type of deck. I mean, obviously it did win the YCS, and it's especially good in a deck like this one where you're combining 2 engines, right? Like if your opponent is able to stop your Yummy engine, you might still have like a full Mitsu push left to go with. Of course, your Mitsu push is smaller than it would be in a full Mitsu deck. Like you only play Saji, you have no Aramasa, no Kusanagi, and so on and so forth. So like it's a smaller Mitsu push, but it's still a Mitsu push, right? Like you can start, or you can start with the Mitsu push and then do the Yummy stuff after. Like it's quite flexible in that way. So it's an interesting deck, and I think in this format it has a place, and it seems pretty good. And playing 60 cards for this kind of deck, honestly, I feel like is appropriate. The only thing I haven't quite gathered, or like the only thing I don't quite understand so far is why we need 2 copies of Miracle Raven. Like why? Because I understand the pendulum here is full combo, Angry Burger is full combo, Prep is full combo and stuff like that. Miracle Raven doesn't seem to be full combo. Well, I'm not sure. Can you pre-prep for 2 ravens? No. Pre-prep adds a ritual spell and a ritual monster. Miracle Raven is not a ritual spell. It contributes a Mitsu name. So it's, yeah, but you only play 4 Mitsu names. I'm plus Saji, I guess. You play 5 Mitsu names in 60 cards. So like, I don't think that's the argument. It's a solid level 1 extender, I suppose. If you get stopped on something, you still have a way to get a level 1 onto the board. And if you contribute a Habakiri or something, that's just free bonus. You can pendulum summon if you open Raven. Raven is a scale 0 and the Nouvelle is a pendulum scale 8. So I guess that's true. It's scale 0 is kind of interesting because you can pendulum summon yummies. Not a lot of scale 0s in the game. So yeah, maybe that's a reason you just like keep them in the pendulum scale for now. Because that's the thing, right? If you actually are able to pendulum summon with Miracle Raven and the Nouvelle, you basically have a full push left in your pendulum scale, right? Because let's say you put these 2 there, then you pendulum summon, you play, you get interrupted, you can still go summon the Miracle Raven from your pendulum scale, and then you control a ritual monster, so you can bring out the Nouvelle pendulum monster, right? So that's still a way to get both of them out of your scale after you've pendulum summoned. I don't think it's going to happen that often either. I don't think that's the most relevant reason. I think I don't know exactly. I feel like you could get away with 1 Miracle Raven if it's actually not the greatest draw, but yeah. Other than that, pretty crazy deck. Of course, I like the Sky Strikers here with all the board breakers, and also no Dominus Purge, so you have no anti-synergy with the Kagari. And here's where, of course, the Mitsurugi cards come in, because they basically need no extra deck space. So you can basically play, I mean, this is a full yummy extra deck, with the only exception that you play 1 zombie vampire. Everything else here, you could reasonably play in a yummy extra deck as well. Of course, you play a 2nd Sky Striker here, so I guess we can turn the Kagari into a link monster that points downwards. So we play the Hayate, and we play the Azalea to also get into the Sky Striker. Or we can go 2nd, we can make Azalea pop something, make Hayate dump Engage, and then Kagari back the Engage. Which is also a neat play. But yeah, other than that, this is just basically a yummy extra deck. So the Mitsurugi cards not requiring any extra deck is what's really helping them out here. Bam.